Internet Icon, brought to you by the Yum Yum F Network.
That phrase has been ingrained into my head since I was 13 years old. And this show, I think, is one of the weirdest, most fun little forgotten pieces of internet history out there. So let's talk about a show that nobody talks about anymore. Internet Icon. Internet Icon is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's a reality web series all about finding the next big YouTuber, or Internet Icon. Each of the 2 seasons brought in 100 contestants, although I don't really feel like that counts because 90 of them were eliminated in the first episode. But the real show starts when it's narrowed down to the top 10. Each of the top 10 contestants are asked to make one video every day, and each day has its own challenge featuring unique rules on what that video has to be like. At the end of each day, they screen their videos for the judges, and one contestant is eliminated until only one is left standing as the next Internet Icon. There is a lot to talk about with this show, but I'm not going to do some episode by episode breakdown of the entire series. I just want to give my general thoughts on what makes this show such a beautiful mess of 2012 internet. So let's start by talking about the judges. And I want to talk about the judges because there's one judge that you probably know. In season 1, the judges were actress Christine Lakin and YouTuber Ryan Higa. And in season 2, they added YouTuber Timothy Delgado as well. But honestly, I think having Ryan Higa as a regular judge on the show is probably the only good marketing move this show ever made. I mean, it's really weird to me for a show that's so based on internet culture and making YouTube videos. I saw no promotion for it online, on YouTube, anywhere. The way I discovered the show was when my friend said, "Hey, have you heard about the show Ryan Higa's on?" And I imagine that's how most people discovered it at the time. But thankfully I did find it back in the summer of 2012 while season 1 was going on, and I'm glad I did. I imagine the lack of promotion was probably a lot to do with just a limited budget, which we'll talk about later. But let's get into the actual show now.
We love you guys.
I'm sorry, what?
Should we
Hi.
go?
Oh yeah, thank you. We got everything we need. Thank you guys though.
Season 1 opens up with the auditions. That's when they bring in those 100 contestants from around the US
And Canada.
and everyone screens their videos for the judges until they narrow it down to their top 10. My biggest takeaway from watching season 1 now is that some of these videos are absolutely terrible. I mean, I don't know what I was really expecting. It's 2012 internet. It's not like these are high quality YouTube content videos. And yet somehow this show was even more of a mess than I expected it to be. I mean, there's so much just ridiculous random humor, default iMovie effects. This guy showed up with a video that was just straight up corrupted, and he made the top 10. To be honest with you, when I watched the show in the past, I would always skip the auditions episodes. They are just pretty damn slow, especially in season 1. They stretch it out into like 3 separate videos or something, and it's filled with a lot of wacky, bad videos. But watching it back now, there's still a lot of charm to it. These are early YouTubers trying to make a dream come true on a brand new reality show. Some of them get really invested and emotional with it. Overall, it is all over the place and really funny to see some of the outdated things the judges are saying about each video.
Because in 2012, people can't sit through a video that moves that slow.
And funny to just see the kind of videos people show up with, but it is extremely endearing and takes you back to a simpler time on the internet. And that's really what I love about this show as a whole. It is rough around the edges. Even when you get to the top 10, a lot of the videos are just straight up bad. And even the reality show Internet Icon itself is kind of poorly made at times. I remember seeing random cuts to black, editing errors, this 10-second long out of focus shot that they just leave in there because it's the best they have. The entire thing is kind of a mess. But that's what YouTube was at the time. I would not have a YouTube reality show any other way. That's what has made YouTube great from the beginning, especially back in 2012. It was unpolished, it was people just creating for fun, and somehow this show captures that vibe completely. I will honestly say that season 1 is not as good as season 2, and not really the one I would want to go back to right now, but there are a few memorable videos. I think the duck video by Foo Music is the most iconic thing to to come out of that show. The brothers Rydell did some funny stuff. Lana McKissack had a little bit of success as a vlogger afterwards. But you're not really watching this show for the quality. You're watching this show for a time capsule of what the internet was like in 2012. But as a fan of the show who has watched season 2 like 6 times, and I promise it wasn't a waste of time, I'm making a video about it, this is productive, I swear. But as a fan of the show who's watched season 2 like 6 times, I think it's pretty interesting to see how some of the contestants in season 1 lay the groundwork for what the series would become. This moment in episode 3 where they ask Justin James Hughes why he was helping other people with their videos honestly has become my most memorable moment of this most recent rewatch.
I think that's one of the things that YouTube is. YouTube is communal. It's not TV and film. It's a community of people leaving comments and helping each other out and shooting videos with each other, and that's why I like the aspect of YouTube more than I like TV and film.
It's funny because after that, it was the standard for everyone to be appearing in everybody's videos. They were all constantly helping each other out, supporting each other, and this whole community around the show started to form. But where that community really went to the next level was in season 2.
Joe, I'm so worried your video is gonna be better than us. I'm gonna have to punch you in the face so you can't get started. Are you serious?
Season 2 of Internet Icon was just the right amount of a step up from season 1. They didn't go too big budget with it. It still had that raw, authentic feeling, but the editing was a lot better, the pacing was better, they got some more notable guest judges so they weren't just bringing on Ryan's friend who was on American Idol once. The show was noticeably higher quality in figuring out what it was meant to be without losing what made it so special in the first place. But really the most important improvement on season 2 is the contestants themselves. Everyone in the top 10 this season has talent. A lot of them are really experienced filmmakers, and the ones who aren't at least have the personality to really make up for it. I used to watch this season every summer. It is still an unpolished mess, but this is a show about 2013 YouTubers making videos in 6 hours. Nothing about that sentence should be polished. There are still quite a few bad videos on there, although I think that says a lot about how our collective sense of humor has just changed in the last 10 years, and also our standards for what we watch online. But maybe the best thing about this season is that community that starts to form between the contestants. You're bringing all these completely different creators together and forcing them to make the same type of videos in extremely stressful, limited time situations. And yet everyone seems to support each other, everyone's having fun. It's just a good time. Something about the show just feels nice. It can be a really stressful situation having to make a video in 6 hours, but everyone there is just having a good time. All of them feel like they really love video making, love YouTube. They're trying to make a dream come true, and they're willing to help each other out and support each other too. They just want to make some funny videos. In that way, there's just this nice community vibe throughout every episode of the show. In fact, I think the producers even told one of the actors that they were allowed to work with that he had to start some drama because no one had any beef with each other and they needed to do something for the views.
Just say it! Say we're gonna beat the clues!
But another part of what makes this idea for a show so great is bringing together all these completely different types of creators. I guarantee you that the fans of Megan Batoon are very different than the fans of Stellar Lens Productions, and those fans are really different than the fans of the Clunes. But on this show, you become a fan of everyone. You're putting together beauty vloggers with sketch comedians, with cinematography powerhouses, with music producers, with Shama Lama and his iPhone 4S, and somehow it all works. They're all part of the same team, you're rooting for every single one of them, and they all like each other too. They're collaborating, they're making videos together. There is no other circumstance where these people would make videos together, but it's a really cool thing to see. And it's so good for the creators too. They get a lot more exposure from completely different audiences, they bring in some new fans, and they can even collaborate with the people that those fans came to the show for in the first place.
That's weird.
There are a few other smart choices that season 2 made that I think really added to that sense of community throughout the whole season. First off, they brought back the brothers Rydell as the host and a contestant mentor. And I do want to say, I think Chester C was a good host for season 1. He was a real YouTuber, and he seemed to really care about those contestants and genuinely try and help them out. But Chris and Nick Rydell were just a step up. They had actually been on the show before. They knew what those contestants were going through, and it seemed like they really cared about what they were doing. These guys bridged the gap from season 1 to season 2. They helped to build that community in the first season, and then they brought it to season 2. Nick Rydell especially was only there to help contestants out, and it really helped make it feel like a collaborative, homey community. And the other thing they added was the editing bay, where everyone had to edit together except for the previous challenge winner. This seems like such a minor thing and probably was only done because they didn't have the budget to book everyone offices anymore, but it really helped add to the vibe of the show. Everyone was in that room together every episode, working together, joking around, just interacting with each other. And that was really fun to see as a viewer. You can even see Matthias talk about it after he won a challenge.
Being in there is like so segregated from everyone else. When you get the bustle going and everyone's in here and everyone's working together and people are getting shots off, it's fun. It's fun.
There really was just this fun, friendly community that connected viewers with so many other creators and connected those creators with each other. Unfortunately though, there was no season 3. Things went quiet in between the seasons for a while until Will Picaro from season 2 posted a video on his channel announcing that season 3 had been canceled just because of lack of funding. Will was supposed to come back for season 3 as the fan favorite contestant from season 2, and honestly I think that would have been a bad idea. I feel like that's way too much of an advantage having someone that people already know and love and has already been through the majority of the competition once before, but that's besides the point because season 3 never happened. It's funny because at the time I thought this would have made the perfect YouTube Red show, and I really wished they would have picked it up somehow. It would have been such a win-win for YouTube and for the creators. I mean, with a little bit more promotion across the site, I think YouTube could have turned this into a really popular show. So they get a big, exciting new show out of it, and the creators get to be on the show. They get so much more exposure. They bring viewers back to their own channels, which creates even more views for YouTube. It's just a healthier ecosystem where YouTube gets to promote the smaller creators they want to promote. Those creators get a ton more exposure, build their own channels, and you have so many people between the show and those channels on the show staying on YouTube for so long, and I don't know why YouTube has never tried to do anything like this, but YouTube Red shut down. It became YouTube Premium. I don't think they make any decent content anymore. I don't think they make any content anymore. And this would have been such a perfect idea, and I wish they would have done it. But that's just what I think. YouTube has definitely moved away from making any kind of original shows like that anymore, and honestly, I don't know how they could pull off a show like this nowadays. I mean, I want to believe it could still work, but just thinking about the YouTube landscape today, how could you possibly pair this creator with that creator and expect them to make anything together? It could still maybe work, but it would never be the same anyway. As much as I would love to see a new season of this kind of show, it would never have that same charm and endearingly low quality. I think it's a little sad how YouTube has changed so much though. I mean, I'm not saying I want to see those 2012 type comedy sketches on my homepage anymore, but it's a little unfortunate how these fun creators just trying to do something random for a laugh have completely faded away in favor of big business content machines. I'm not the first to say that though. That's not really what this video is about. I just do kind of feel nostalgic for those old days of YouTube sometimes. And that's why it's nice to watch this show. You can really see how things changed when you look at the contestants now though. Most of them had maybe a little success after the show and then completely disappeared. A couple of them had more success. I think Megan Batoon is still doing pretty well on YouTube, although her views have dropped off, but she's at least making similar type of videos to what she did back then, and that's maybe the only one you can say that about. Matthias has the biggest channel out of anyone off of Internet Icon, but it is completely unrecognizable from the guy who was on the show.
Why? Why?
That's just how YouTube goes nowadays though. As much as I would love to see a new form of Internet Icon someday, I think that ship has sailed. For now, we just gotta appreciate Internet Icon for what it is. A beautiful mess of 2012 internet, a special moment of community between creators and viewers before YouTube inevitably moved on.
When I was young, about a year ago, I was on an internet reality show. Internet icon.
Hard challenges every day. New props and actors who are crazy.
Alec Ladd.
Internet icon blues. Internet icon blues. Season 1 is better than season 2, but it's your finale, so we'll sing about you. Anthony Ma did the nasty gum.